What's up? It's Tommy from Funk Stylist TV, and I'm down in Sheffield for Smash Proof, also in collaboration with Break Mission.
Up in Sheffield. Up
in Sheffield, sorry, depending on where you're from. Whilst I'm down here, I figured I'd just do like a quick interview with my man Swifty here, and we're just gonna go through basically his journey from being a b-boy and becoming, like, I guess you could, I would consider him as probably one of the main MCs of UK today. I can't think of anybody else that travels as much as Swifty in this current state. So yeah, so thanks bro for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So yeah, I guess for the people at home that actually don't know you, just, I guess, could you just describe like your background and stuff? So how did you start b-boying in the first place, and then how did that transition into like being an MC?
Well, I started breaking after I used to skate. I was a skater, so I was a sponsored skater. I'm pretty good at it too. There's like a video of me doing it online, doing quite a few tricks.
Yeah.
And one day this guy comes in, a guy called 80, who was doing like windmills on the ramp. And like for the last 5 years before that, this was when I was about 18, I'd always been trying to do some moves, some breaking, popping, messing around with dancing, Michael Jackson stuff. I was like, I want that. I've always wanted to learn that. So he's like, come down, do this, come at the event that we do and like learn, we've got classes. So I learned from him, went to a Battle of Britain, started practicing, getting better and just like hitting up a lot of local events. And then I got asked by a guy called Joss at Loughborough Uni to host the Loughborough's Hard School.
Okay.
He said, like, you've got real loads of energy, I think you'll be good on the mic. And this was in 2006, okay. So from that started the journey of hosting things. Like I was doing that.
So that's not that long ago.
No, it's 10 years.
Yeah.
It's 10 years in the making. So, well, 11 if you 11 years.
Actually, maybe it was that long. Now you said that way.
Yeah, it's 11 years. It's 11 years.
11 years is a long time.
Yeah, stop making me feel old. So yeah, 2006 did that. Then I started doing things like Breakfest in Birmingham.
Yeah. That
was Mushroom's event. And then since then I've done like Welsh Champs. That was one of the first big ones I did. I got invited to. What else? Welsh Champs. There's so many. Like I did Regional Conflict for Hooch one year. And it was okay. And then I asked him if I could do some other stuff, and he was like, "You're not ready, man. Like, you need to define yourself as a host because, you know, I was just learning the ropes." And then I met MC Tricks, my first international event. I went to Battle of the Year 2007. I went on my J's. I went on my own. It was me, Shingo, Mouse, and Kazuki, and I think some of the Sin crew went. So there's like probably about 7 UK people from Battle of the Year, and I met Tricks there, and we became talking. And it was just like, I said, "You're an inspiration," because I first saw him on Battle of the Year 1999 hosting. I was like, I want to be like that guy. No real black people that I saw that I could relate to.
Sure.
Because he was loud, and I was like, yeah, that's me, I could do that. So that was my goal. And then I started talking to Tricks a lot. He came to a few UK events, and then he was like, oh, you know, I said to him, I asked him, I said, look, you ever get the chance, can I host with you? You know, I wanted to host with him. So Battle of the Year, did that, and then in 2008 I went back with him to Battle of the Year, and I hosted at the Weeby Girls pre-party with him.
Oh, okay.
My first time hosting an international thing. I was his co-host. Then I did Battle of the Year UK with him again. So I started to get more and more. Then I did IBE with him, and then I kept going back and doing IBE, and then IBE kept saying, well, okay, Tricks wasn't there, so come and do some for us here.
Yeah.
And let's not get it twisted. I asked these guys at IBE and, you know, all these kind of places in the beginning to do these things. For a few years I had to put graft in. You can't just expect to think, I want to do stuff. You have to promote yourself, and promoting yourself sometimes comes out of your pocket.
Yeah.
You know, flying yourself out, going to the event, saying I just want to come and do it. Let me show you how good I am. Build that rep up, you know. That's the way I did it. Not everybody might agree with that, but that's the way I feel that it works better. And then it just started to take off. I think Hooch recommended me for Red Bull. I did Red Bull, and I got better, and it got more and more. Then I did UK Champs, then I did World B-Boy Classic. I just recently did IBE, and then I did the Holland side for at IBE for Red Bull. So I've done 3 Red Bulls, 2 UK champs, 2 World B-Boy Classics.
It's a nice, not bad CV.
Yeah, it's getting there. Like and I've been asked by other countries to go out and do stuff in their country. Like I've done stuff for the Rugged Solutions. I did Break Junkies for them.
Yeah.
I've gone to Scotland. I'm going back to Scotland in a couple of weeks. I've gone and done Break Mission again. I've gone to the resident host for Break Mission now. Where else? Like I said, Welsh Champs. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff I've done. Groovonometry is another one I'm a resident host at now. So it's building, but it's from putting in work. It's not just come out of nowhere. I've asked to do a lot of these events. I even did You Don't Stop in Wales for Slamo as well. I did that with him. So you know, it's been a long journey. It's still going. I'm still learning.
That's cool. So like through that whole journey, like, do you have any like? I mean, you've listed all these events already, but is there one that particularly stands out? Like, this was like a mind-blowing highlight of my MC career.
UK Champs.
Was it?
Yeah. First time I got asked. I mean, let's not get it twisted. I ain't never gonna. I mean, Legs will probably see this, but until Legs is dead, or like he hangs at the title, there's no chance of me hosting on UK Champ stage, and I'm cool with that because as far as I'm concerned, that's a legacy right there.
Yeah, sure.
If I ever get asked to do that, I think I'll cry because that's like my dream. UK Champs Battle of the Year, freestyle session. I basically wanted to hit all the big ones. I wanted to say I've done the big ones, but the ones I love doing are the ones where they're my peoples now. Like IBE, I love those guys. I love Holland. I love the Dutch culture. I love the Dutch people. They're really, really welcoming. They do a lot for the scene. So UK Champs was like, that's my home turf, you know, so it's always been the one I wanted to do, and the fact that I got asked to do it twice, I got mad respect, but there was a point I wasn't ready, like I said, you know, and the reason for that I think was my attitude. My attitude was wrong. Attitude was very wrong. Not a lot of people know this, but I was a Maverick hater, so like Soul Mavericks.
Right. Okay.
When I was down with Trinity,
I didn't know that actually.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now. Like, I was down with Trinity Warriors. I got kind of caught up in the whole. Not that Trinity Warriors were like this, but I think this was, you know, I felt that you had to be better than everyone to succeed and have that attitude of arrogance. And when I hosted Battle of the Year, We Girls pre-party, Abdul from Soul Mavericks, he was trying to see what was going on. And I was standing there, I'm like, I'm hosting now, I'm making it, I'm getting now, I'm going to show everybody that I'm good, you know. And he says, oh, can you just scoot down so I can see? I was like, whatever, man. And it was just like, yo, there was no need for that. No need. So we came back, we was at a jam in London, and Abdul started coming at me, like, trying to battle me, and he was like, you disrespected me and stuff. And I was like, what's your problem? And he says, you're a Maverick hater, you don't even know why. Like, what's your problem? Why are you hating on us? Like, and I was just like, I took a step back, and I was just like, wow, he's right. I've got a problem with these guys, and I don't even know why. Because everybody else had a problem with them. Because they were a new crew.
You just followed the hate.
I followed suit, followed the hoop, followed the hate. And after that, I decided to take a more positive outlook towards everything and everyone. That everybody is trying to do something, whether it's your lane or not, you're trying to do something. So when they win and stuff, you should be proud that people from your community, from your hometown, from your country, are doing things. Even if they're not from your country, like when these guys get movie deals and stuff, I'm like, yo, that's dope. They're getting paid, they're feeding their family. All that stuff, my asthma's playing me, that's why I'm breathing like this. But the thing is like, once I started to do that, doors opened. People, you know, I was showing love to everybody and everything because I genuinely felt like I've become a douchebag. You know, I'm trying to let power go to my head and all this nonsense, and it don't work like that. It's about what you put in.
Positivity will attract more positivity, and
the positive, it just showed me for what I was turning into, and I didn't like it, so I changed it. And after that, I started to do that. And another thing that I had to do as well was change my style of hosting, because hosting with Tricks, I started to try and be like Tricks without even realising it. And I'm not Tricks. And I started getting called Mini Tricks. So I was just like, to hell with that, I'm not, no.
So you started finding your own person?
Find my own thing, finding my own sayings, like saying it's all in the details. When you hear me host, you hear that, that's my saying. I say it's all in the details. The DJs on the 1s and 2s, the 3s and 4s and the 5s and 6s. That's because if you've got more than one DJ, they can't all be on the 1s and 2s. So that's one of my things, but that's developed over time. So all these little things make a little difference, but definitely ultimately the love for your culture and for people in general, for humans. You know, we've all got something to do, something to give, something to offer. Don't hate on people just because they're doing well.
Yeah. Cool.
So.
All right. So I mean, I guess just to wrap things up then. So as a now that you're a seasoned MC, right? So for anybody that wants to be starting to get into the MC scene or wants to become like even just their local jams and stuff, how would you ask them? What was your tips for them to try and get into the MC scene, and then like some do's and don'ts of being an MC that would see them in good stead in the future?
I wrote a list of this stuff out.
You got like an essay.
I got an essay,
a dissertation.
So,
so
let me talk to the camera now. I'll talk to the camera, and you at the back as well. I'll talk to you as well. So you better listen to this. I'm not naming no names. So. The notes that I made were that when you're hosting an event, you are vital to the event. You are vital to it in the sense that you keep it moving and you keep it going in the direction you want it to go. So that's in being that the case, you have to know what's going on. So sometimes it's important to have a stage manager, someone that can get the information for you and relay it back to you. That's always important. If you've got that, it's really helpful. But it also helps for you to be asking for that information yourself.
Yeah.
So if there isn't a stage manager, you've got a coach. So you've got to find out everything needs to know, times, who's judging, what's going on, what's going down. If you haven't got that info to hand on a clipboard, have it on your phone, have it on your tablet. We live in a new age, so you can write these things down. You've got to remember that you're the first face that people see, and they see that you're a person of importance because you're the loudest.
Yeah.
So that being the case, what you have to remember is that people are going to come at you with information and like, oh, when's this? And sometimes, especially in a bigger scale of the jam, you can't deal with that right now.
No, sure.
And I learned that from Tyrone, and sometimes it's like, no, go over there. No, I can't deal with that right now. I'm dealing with this. This is what's important. This is what's happened. But you've got to manage that, so that's part of your job. One of the key things I had to learn to remember is it's not about you as a host. It's nothing to do with you. As in, it's not all about you. It's not your show. It's about the jam and the people there.
And the energy in it, right? Because
the
you have the energy in there.
Yes. So it's about portraying that and conveying that, not, oh, look at me, I'm the guy on the mic, I'm the funny guy. I used to have that approach. It's wrong. You need to be about the jam and about the people and what they're doing. You're there to help people get through it and how the jam works. Because if you've never been to one before, you need to know what's going on. So it's like, yo, guys, you need to make noise because you're allowed to be crazy. You're allowed to be a bit more hype.
And funny you should say that, because I film. I mean, for you guys, I've obviously filmed a lot of like jams and stuff, and I've been to jams where the MC doesn't do anything. They just announce the time, who's battling, and that's it. And then they win it, and that's it. And the energy just kind of drains throughout the whole day.
Because even with the most amazing dancers, if you've got no crowd, you've got no energy. If you've got no energy, you've got no jam. So that's important. Knowing when to speak and when to keep quiet. That's when I know, because just because you've got a mic doesn't mean you need to comment on everything. You don't need to be like, oh, yo, this is. You don't have to do that. Saying that as well, talking through the whole battle, it's not the one. Don't do that. Don't ever just talk through the whole battle, because the dancers are listening to the music. You need to be able to be like, pick your moments. You've got to be able to pick your moments. If you don't pick your moments, what's going to happen is it's just going to be, people are going to be bored. But you do have to have some level of dialogue. Like you said, if you're not saying anything, you're just doing the information, it's whack. Be professional at all times, okay? This means being on time, and for me, watching your language, because your content and your language, because I personally don't swear on the mic. I make a point, I'll say damn. I'll say, oh shoot, because I feel that there's kids in the scene now, and as a role model, as in, not a role model because I feel like I'm a role model. I've got guys coming up to me saying, I started breaking when they were 2. So that means that I'm what they've seen. Yeah, you. So that means that you have to think about that. So what you're saying, they'll be affected, and then that means, because I'm aware personally of that, as that being that influence, they might think, well, that's what a host does, he swears. So I don't want to do that. So that's me personally, which means also you have to know your audience. So even if the audience is full of adults, I still try not to swear because it becomes a habit. Finding your own style. We talked about this with Tricks. Obviously, look up MC Tricks. He's the guy that hosted Battle of the Year. He did it for free from the first couple of years. He just got asked last minute, and now he's a legacy when it comes to hosting. So yeah, you've got to develop your own style. One of my key points, this is one I've got here, it's in capital letters, key point. Have a dialogue with your DJ Okay,
Yeah.
You and the DJ are the focal points of the jam. No music, no DJ, unless you've bootlegged DJ Timber's mixtape and you've got CDJs. You've got no music if you've got no DJ. So having a talk with the DJ about how you're going to signal him to be quiet, to take the music down to a level for announcements. Okay. Try to avoid killing the music completely unless it's for an emergency announcement or health and safety or something like these are the fire exits, etc. So try and keep that flow of music going, okay? And because people need to vibe, all right? Don't rush the DJ. Keep that dialogue open with him so that you can actually go, we've got this many rounds coming up, we've got this many, because he'll always ask you because you should know, you're the host, you're there leading it, you're the conductor of the event. So, and the same goes for your judges. Talk to them beforehand and say what's going on, this is how many rounds it is, this is what's happening, don't forget this. Have a key judge that you speak to, because you know it's always easy to deal with one person rather than dealing with all 3 or 5. Excuse me. Knowing the names of everybody, like your DJs, your judges, your sponsors, what crew they're from.
Your cameraman.
Your cameraman. This is Tommy from Funkstyler TV, what I used to call Freestyler TV. Don't know why I used to do that. But you got to know this stuff, because if you don't know that sort of stuff, it's going to look whack when you introduce your judges, the wrong name or the wrong pronunciation. Learn this stuff. And if you don't know, go and see them beforehand. Ask, yo, what do you represent? What do you do? Yo, this is Tommy. He represents Funkstyler TV. Been putting out his channel on YouTube for this many years, and he's a locker. So he's involved in the dancing scene. He knows his stuff when it comes to locking. So this is the kind of thing you need to find out. Don't delay the decision when it comes to after the battle. You know, get them to go back to their sides and go, right, judges, 3, 2, 1, here we go. Don't long it out. Don't count down from 20 or 30. There's no need for that nonsense. You don't need to do any of that kind of stuff. Lastly, remember that you are the devil's advocate. I like this one. I thought of this the other day. What's a host? A host is a devil's advocate. He sits in the middle, he stokes the fire, he argues both sides of the table. So you have to be devil's advocate, but you also have to be biased at times as well. Because if someone throws out a dope round, you can't be like, oh, that was okay. You got to blow it up. Like, yo, that was crazy. What you got for a response? But then that's a way for you to then stoke the fire of the battle.
You're the MC though. Like your opinions. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but like you're allowed to throw your opinion.
That's right. Judge, but it's good to throw your opinion out in a non-biased way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So it's like that round was fire because it was. Yeah. Encourage the crowd to understand that. Encourage the dancer that's battling that other guy to be like, yo, he said that was fire. I better up my game.
Yeah.
So that's another one. What else have I got? Lastly, put in work. Ask for feedback and opinions from people that you've heard that are hosts, so you can improve. But don't ask dingbats. All right? Never ask the dingbat. Shout out to DJ Renegade for the word dingbat. He didn't come up with it, but he uses it a lot. So don't ask dingbats, because don't just ask any old monkey, right? You've got to find the people that are relevant to what you're doing. So that means if you know an OG host, go and ask them. Any tips? Did you see me host? What did you think? Ask for pointers. And here's another one. Don't be afraid to ask a host that hosts, can I host with you when you do something next, please?
Yeah.
I want that experience. It's like, yo.
It's nice to shadow somebody else. It's a nice introduction to the scene as well.
Exactly. Like, don't just think, oh, I'm going to make it on my own. No one does anything without help. You're always going to need help. And I would just say, just be consistent and confident. You know, hosting is a skill, and all skill takes time to develop. So give it that time. And like I said earlier on, the last bit is literally the last bit. Love and respect everyone. We all have to start somewhere. So don't be like, oh, that kid's whack because of this or that or the other. Or if someone asks you to move in a battle, don't just go, I'm the host, I'm standing here. Try to respect. It's about people. We're a community. Community means it's not just about you. It's about everyone. Yeah, the unity. Right? Okay, so that's my opinion on hosting. They're already started out there, so I better get my backside out there. But you know who I am. I'm Swifty. I represent Flawless Fawns crew. We're out of Northamptonshire.
So just obviously you can hear it, but so if people wanted to get in touch with you and ask you advice, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Sir Swifty, BBoy Swifty at hotmail.com, and my pages are all on Facebook. Just type in Swifty and it'll come up. But the Instagram one is the best one. I like my Instagram.
Cool. All right, so you might be able to hear it, but yeah, the MC out there is already started.
I told him not to start about
I know, right? So yeah,
these youngsters.
So we're starting now. So we've got a dance. dash. But yeah, by all means, if you have any questions about hosting, look at Swifty, and then everything else, you know where to go. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you know where everything else on FSTV TV. So that's from us. We're out. Peace.
Peace out. Let's go.
All right.
Thank you, Tom.